Hey, what's up everyone? I'm going to do things in reverse this video, and I'm going to start out with the last day of week 6 just because I'm working up to 90% of my 1 rep max, so hopefully it's a little bit more exciting. This is 325 pounds for doubles on squats, which ties a PR for me. I know, kind of sad, but my form looks a lot better than it did previously, so I'm pretty happy with the progress that I've seen in the last 6 weeks under John's programming. And then I moved on to deadlifts. But I'm seeing some upper back rounding, which I'm not too happy about, and hopefully if I was starting fresh I'd be able to use a little bit more weight than the 405 that's on the bar right now. But overall, pretty pleased. It felt good to work up to some heavier weight. As you've seen previously in the program, I'd only been using about 70 to 80% of my 1 rep max. And then I'm gonna go back to day 1, and this was a workout I was actually doing late in the evening, and I'm not used to that at all, so I was interested to see how I would perform. And like I've kind of mentioned earlier, I overcompensate for things like these, so I was so determined to not let this have a negative effect on my workout. It actually ended up being a better workout than it usually is. Everything felt really good. And as you're going to see in the next clip, I PR'd on these pause squats that you hear me complaining about over and over again, and for the first time they didn't feel absolutely terrible. So who knows, maybe it was just a placebo effect, or maybe I really would be better to work out in the evenings, but that's really not going to be an option for me. But nonetheless, I was happy to not be absolutely crushed by these pause squats. It made things much more enjoyable going forward as I moved on to the Romanian deadlifts. And I'm still able to put weight on the bar week after week on these, mainly because it's a new movement. After a while I'll hit that plateau and the progress will kind of become stagnant, but for now I'll take all the progress I can get. And this is something I've really been able to feel in my hamstrings, which is nice. I've pretty much neglected my hamstrings for the last few months before working with John outside of the conventional deadlifts. And then on day 2, I start off with some bench press. This is 245 pounds for triples, and I was surprised how good this felt. So I believe on the next set I actually increased the weight to, yep, right there, 255 pounds. And I wish I would have gotten day 4 on film, because I PR'd at 265 pounds for a double, and it was pause reps. Previously my best was 265, but they were touch and go. But of course, if you don't get it on film, it never happened. So hopefully next time I will, and hopefully there'll be a little bit more weight on the bar. I'm pretty pleased with how much my pressing strength has increased in the last 6 weeks. And I've really been liking these, and I think this might have a little bit to do with it. These behind the neck snatch grip presses have really been working my shoulders well, and I was pretty closed-minded to anything like this before starting the program. I didn't do anything behind the neck, but I can definitely see an improvement. And once these finish up, you are going to see a very rough deadlift day for me. I think this is only 395 pounds maybe, but it felt like a lot more, and I had a lot of things in mind form-wise. I really wanted to keep my hips up. I was trying to focus on taking slack out of the bar. Trying to fix the upper back rounding that I had been struggling with in previous weeks. But there's just a fine line, I think, between keeping form in mind and really overthinking every step of the deadlift. I think there comes a point where you just have to get down there and pull the bar and be confident in your abilities and what you know, and go back and analyze later. And I just wasn't doing a very good job of that. And it showed. I got the reps I needed to, but it just did not feel as easy as it should have. Or not as easy, but it didn't feel as smooth as it should have, I should say. And then I could tell when I moved on to pause deadlifts that it was going to be the same issue. I did 315 last week, and I put that on the bar and quickly realized it just wasn't going to happen. So I moved down to 275, and it felt great, but I'm also doing a lot less weight. But I guess we just all have those days. And that's going to be it for the video, so please like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.